record, we have a quorum with Councilmember Gilman excused. Before we begin, we started last week with a new feature of our business meetings, and that's a update on our homeless response plan and efforts. So I'd like to invite our Strategic Communications Director, Kelly Purse-Brosseth, to the podium to give us any updates.
Thank you, Mayor Selby, council members, Kelly Purse-Brosseth, Strategic Communications Director. Always a pleasure being before you. I just give you a few updates about what's been going on this week. We met this afternoon. First of all, around B Avenue encampment, today, city staff posted notice on B Avenue that the unsanctioned encampment there will be removed next Tuesday, January 29th. All the campers on B Avenue are being offered safe shelter options to go to if they so choose. As you know, I told you last week, Lot has construction project underway, and we'll be using B Avenue. Heavy equipment, heavy trucks and equipment will be using that road every day, and so it will not be a safe place to camp. Also, regarding Plum Street Village, there are several dates the public should note for this tiny home site. On Saturday, January 26th at 9 a.m., there's going to be a build party on the site, and the public is welcome to volunteer. We do ask folks to park kindly with the neighboring businesses and surrounding area. And then on January 31st, Lehigh will be the Low Income Housing Institute, who is leasing the property and operating the site. They'll be having an open house for the public from 3 to 6 p.m. at the site. The public is welcome, and we hope you do go. And then on the first week of February, folks will be moving into the site with expected move to begin on Monday, February 4th. And then a reminder that the annual Thurston County Point in Time Homeless Census will be taking place this Thursday, January 24th, also called the PIT. It is the yearly snapshot of who is homeless in Thurston County and why. We've got a cadre of city staff who volunteered and local volunteers who are going to work the census, and they were training in this chamber just this afternoon. Unfortunately, all the volunteer opportunities have closed with the city's work with the PIT, but we're encouraging members of the public who'd like to reach out to our local homeless organizations such as Salvation Army, Union Gospel Mission, Community Youth Services, and see what sort of help they might need during that time or what kind of donations they might take. And then finally, just sort of rumor control and a little bit good news at the same time. We've heard a lot from residents who've been concerned that there was not enforcement going on for criminal behavior downtown. So this is just a little slice of the work being done, but I'd like to share some data from the month of December, just last month, just a couple of weeks ago. So last month, the walking patrol seized more than 41 grams of methamphetamines and more than 21 grams of heroin. They're continuing to work on leads that were generated from those seizures and arrests. They made approximately 30 arrests and recovered 2 high-value bikes. One was $2,500 and the other is $7,700. I'm kind of a Schwinn girl, so if it costs a couple of bucks, I'm good to go, but that's pretty amazing. They also helped about 3 people get home around Christmas time to their original states and be reunited with their families. And they handed out approximately 100 Christmas cards to businesses downtown. So that's my report for today. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. It's
Sure.
amazing. It's only been a week since your last report, and so much is going on.
Yeah, we're pretty busy here.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, now I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I need to make one more correction. We needed to add an executive session. I'm so sorry. So moved and seconded. Our city attorney, do I withdraw the motion and
If you wish, you can withdraw it and then make the motion again.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Thank you. Do we need a second on that?
Yep. Second.
All right, thank you. So the motion's been withdrawn. I need to make a an addition to tonight's agenda, and that is to add an executive session that will happen as item 9A on our agenda, and it will happen after we finish our regularly scheduled business meeting, so at the end of tonight. And anyhow, so that's added as another item. So,
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move adoption of tonight's agenda as modified.
great. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have an agenda for tonight. It wasn't too slick, was it? But we got there. So we have no special recognition tonight. Public comment, we only have one person signed up, and they're well acquainted with the rules. So 3 minutes over my right shoulder, and I would like to invite C.C. Coates.
For the audience. Hello, fellow citizens and Olympia City Council members. I'd like to sadly state my opinion on Oli Ice and you guys deciding to basically give a party to people when there's urgent human need. I find it vulgar. You guys spent, what, $5 million on that lot? $3 million on making it into a quote-unquote park? And then, just to make sure that nobody poor was going to be around there, you made it a party zone for people. Some people say they need to have fun. I say fun actually isn't a need. And when you're affluent enough to afford a home, you have access to much more fun than the people who are suffering on the street, the disabled people that are suffering on the street. I consider this grievous mismanagement of funds. You guys specifically developed that park just so people like me wouldn't be living there. That's not okay. You haven't given us rubber tramps any other options. It's not my fault that I'm homeless. No, really, it's not. I'm disabled, and there's nothing the medical community can do to fix me. And after 12 years of trying to get on disability, I've been priced right out of the market. 10 years ago, I could have gone on the open market and found a roommate or something, but not anymore. We've given this town to the developers. We've given the public properties and the commons to the people who least need it. This is shameful. And I'm living in two cities. See, there's Richistan, where you have the Constitution and rights, and then there's what I have to put up with. I don't think it's okay to take my Second Amendment rights and my rights to privacy in trade of a tiny house. That place is being run like an internment camp. I don't think anybody here would find it acceptable to have their possessions searched before they're allowed to go home. To not have any guests over. What happens if somebody actually wants to have, let's say, a lover or a friend? They're not allowed to have that in your tiny house village because apparently we have to be hyper-criminalized. I'm going to end this little sermon with a moment of silence for the dead and the suffering. Please stop making us live in third world conditions. And I won't have to bring this unsanitary piss pot in anymore that I have to use.
Thank you. That concludes public comment for this evening. I now need a motion to approve tonight's consent calendar. Or did anybody have any, sorry, was there any responses from the dais? All right, I need a motion to approve tonight's consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or polls?
Mayor, I see our city manager might have a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I could, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Since Oli on Ice was mentioned tonight, I thought I might give some factual information about Oli on Ice.
Okay.
So actually, Oli on Ice, through our sponsorships and revenues, paid for almost its entire amount without any general fund subsidy. And so we were very successful this year in getting lots of sponsors. There was way more revenue than we thought, so there was very little subsidy. The money that did go to subsidize it is what we called restricted funds for parks only, so it could not be used for other services. The city has lots of restricted funds. We collect utility fees for our water utility only. We have restricted funds for transportation. The small amount of subsidy that was used could only be used for parks and recreation purposes, could not be used for other purposes. So again, it almost paid for itself, and the small amount of subsidy was paid for by restricted funds.
Thanks for that clarification. Mayor Pro Tem Bateman.
Thank you, Mayor Selby. And didn't some of we also paid subsidized membership for different nonprofit organizations in the community?
We actually were able to provide a lot of free passes for different groups for, I can't remember the different nonprofits, but we
Safe Place
gave out
was one.
quite for Safe Place and others. And we also gave discounts for members of the military. And so we provided an opportunity for lots of different groups to be able to use the skate park, even if they couldn't pay. And then, of course, Tuesday nights was cheap skate night, where they had discounted skating as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for adding that. You know, I'm sorry that I didn't pause long enough. It's just sometimes there are statements that are made that are so egregiously incorrect. So I'm glad that you corrected that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bateman.